Already?
No. Hello, I'm Pam Hoffman, Everyday Spacer.
I'm Jeff Miller, 2049 Outfitters.
At Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy. We're here on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, 12 midnight Eastern Time, and 6 a.m. on Saturday in Germany. We're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California. It's Everyday Spacer Week! Most every day at the beginning of May is something cool everyday spacers can celebrate. And I didn't even share. All right, so let's do that right now. Because I have a whole bunch of good stuff to share with you. God, is that it? Yep. And I'm in the wrong place. Give me a moment. Hey. Nope, not that one. There it is. All right, so according to National Day, there are a bunch of good days that you can celebrate, like National Space Day. It's the first Friday in May, and that is actually today, May 3rd. This is the National Space Day. May 4th, oh, they don't even show it here. May 4th is Comic Book Day, and May 4th is also Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And National Astronaut Day is on May the 5th. I skipped one. May 4th through 6th is the Eta Aquarid meteor shower. We'll tell you more about that later. May 5th is Astronaut Day, like I said. And sometimes we have International Astronomy Day. It occurs, sometimes it occurs in the first week of May, but this year it is on May 18th. I had another one here too, National Tourism Day. But I want to talk to you about International Astronomy Day a little bit because they actually have a couple of them per year. And the idea is to bring astronomy to people. Like this little history part says, Astronomy Day was born in California in 1973. Doug Berger, then president of the Astronomical Association of Northern California, decided that rather than try to entice people to travel long distances to visit observatory open houses, they would set up telescopes closer to where people were in busy locations, urban locations like street corners, shopping malls, parks, etc. I know that as sidewalk astronomy. And this chart here gives the dates of Astronomy Day for different years. And so we've got first quarter moon, Astronomy Day, days from the new moon, Astronomy Week. And I don't see anything for the three themes of these, but since the 2024 first quarter moon falls on the 15th, they have Astronomy Day on the 18th, and it's only 10 days until the new moon. What's this part again? Astronomy Week. So they have an Astronomy Week as well. And I actually suggested to the National Day calendar, because anyone can make a suggestion to make this Everyday Spacer Week. And well, maybe someday it will be official, but that's what I call Everyday Spacer Week. All right, you can come back to us.
There we go.
And let's get our notes, catch our notes up to us. Oh, it's you.
Okay, today we're going to profile Father Angelo Secchi. We'll be back in 8.3 seconds. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Scott. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Okay, 2 weeks ago we did a citizen science project counting sunspots drawn by Father Angelo Secchi, recording his observations.
That was so cool.
Yeah. Father Angelo Secchi was an Italian Catholic, and we just basically found it very fascinating because we looked up a bunch of stuff about him. Father Angelo Secchi was an Italian Catholic priest and astronomer from the Italian region of Emilia. He was a director of the observatory at Pontifical Gregorian University. Then it was called the Roman College. For 28 years, he was a pioneer in astronomical spectroscopy and was one of the first scientists to state authoritatively that the sun is a star. Which, remember, he was a Catholic priest at the time that he said that. So, what have you learned since our citizen science episode, Pam?
Oh, this is so cool. Go ahead and share.
Mm-hmm.
And I do recall mentioning this site here. And he actually became the first one that they created for this Vatican Observatory page. And it was like the 200th anniversary of his birthday, really, actually. So, yeah, there's a really cool page about him here. See, the year 2018 marked the 200th anniversary of the birth of Father Angelo Secchi. And there have already been several articles on him, one of which is here but is not working. But they have a really, really wonderful video. In fact, I wanted to share a whole bunch of clips with you. I do have a couple of things, but boy, that would just, anyway, go see it. That's my suggestion.
Yeah. Oh, in fact, here, let me.
I think it's in the notes. Try the show notes. And yeah, see there, Vatican Observatory.
Yep, I will share.
Yeah, go ahead and share. And so they say here, why begin the series of for this website with a scientist for whom so much has already been written? Why not start with someone else? One motivation is to strike while the iron is hot, while the name Secchi is still somewhat familiar to readers. But more importantly, he made so many contributions in so many different fields, and yet he is almost unknown to the world today. With anti-clericalism very strong in Italy at the end of the 19th century, his status as a priest and his connection to the Vatican were reason enough to suppress his memory and scientific legacy. On the one hand, there were people who remembered him as a scientist, and on the other hand, there were people who remembered him as a priest, but very, very rarely both. And yet he was. In fact, he did not see a disconnect in this in any way, shape, or form. I have a quote a little bit later. He talks about this observatory. Oh, is this clickable? I didn't think it was. And so what happened was it had a location, but it was on a very high pillar-like thing, and it wasn't very stable. In fact, oh, okay, it's not showing up very well.
No, it's showing.
Wow, it's a big file. In fact, this church, it's the Saint Ignacio, right?
Yeah. I think
it's in here somewhere.
Yeah,
right St. Ignatius. This church had been built to support a dome, but the dome was never actually created to, live on top of this church. Oh, we got it.
Yeah, hey, Dawn.
Hi, Dawn. The fourth is with you too. So he looked around, and on the complete opposite corner of the Happy May 4th, Dawn. On the complete opposite corner of the campus, he found this church that was just right for this observatory. It would be very stable, it would be very strong, and it could support the equipment and it's not really a dome, as you can see, for their observatory at the time. And it was really quite something for that time. It was he renovated, he put in a very advanced telescope for the time. And so let's see, he really contributed to so many different aspects of science. We've got astrophysics here. He's one of the first to systematically study the spectra of the stars. He made spectroscopic observations of over 4,000 stars and classified them by type. And it's actually what the Hertzsprung-Russell, the HR diagram, is kind of based on. I think there's maybe a loose connection, but it was kind of this attitude of not just where they are, but rather what they are. And this video will explain that too. It's very nice. It's a very nice video with lots of interesting people that weigh in.
Yep.
And so here it is. This early work was the foundation upon which the Harvard Observatory built the spectral classification system that we use today. Essentially, it was the first kind of database of stars, solar physics. And we talked about this with his drawings a couple of weeks ago. He made many observations of the sun, and he took spectra of the solar atmosphere. They kind of knew what this was, but they didn't really understand these funny lines that kept showing up in spectra. And, he's one of the first people to kind of start understanding that was what, like in this case, he was looking at the sun, what it's made of. Observations of sunspots during eclipses. He photographed solar prominences. And what's really interesting about this is that he didn't just think that they were like an artifact. He compared these photos taken by him and photos taken by other people in other places to understand that these weren't actually something that was in the camera, in the atmosphere, but it was something on the sun, an actual prominence on the sun. This is pretty significant. He published this work in a book called Le Soleil. However, it was not translated into English. There was a little bit of a rivalry, and the guy in England did not want it ever to be published in English, which it really should have been. The planetary science, he wasn't just like, looking at these little dots in the heavens, but wondering what they were, what they were like, what they're composed of. And again, the spectroscopic, that's a hard word to say, the spectroscopic images helped to understand that. And so much can be learned from a spectroscopic image. Even like redshift and composition of the atmosphere, and like when a body is in front of a star, we can tell the difference between the star and what the body is. I see a comment.
Yeah, Scott asks, are there any pictures of the equipment that he used?
Yes. And I
don't know that we have photographs, but I think we have drawings of it. But we might have photographs.
I think there's one coming up here. He was very involved with the magnetic field of the Earth. In 1853, Secchi established the first geomagnetic observatory in Italy. He had a laboratory constructed with several instruments for measuring the strength and direction of the Earth's magnetic field and how it varies with time. He made connections between variations in the field and various solar activity. So he connected these two. He understood that, something happens on the sun and it affects the Earth's magnetic field. Meteorology. I mean, here, all these contributions. And I mean, I didn't know about them, and I've been involved with this for quite a while.
Decades.
Yeah, decades. Meteorology. Secchi was interested in
atmosphere. Say half a century.
Not quite. In atmospheric physics and the connection between atmospheric phenomena and other phenomena, such as solar activity. Again, tying in this, what's happening on the sun, with what's happening in the magnetic field, with what's happening to Earth's weather. So interesting, and not something really anybody had done before this. He did geodetic surveys of with the what says Via Appia Antica, one of the main roads leading to Rome, and an important base for many of the maps of Italy of the day. There's also this really cool Secchi disc, which is something used in oceanography. The idea is this disc is a known, the light and dark fields and all that. They would drop it into bodies of water. This could be the ocean or lake or whatever. And they would know at which point it would like disappear. In fact, the ones you can see on Amazon, and I provided a link in the description, on YouTube, it has a way to purchase these, and they'll have like dots along the line as you see this orange rolled up line here.
In fact, you can see the
you can see a couple dots already. I didn't think this one had it actually. Oh, you know what? This will be a picture too, won't it? I didn't realize this. So you can actually measure how deep this disappears at, how deep in the body of water you stop seeing this.
So you can see how cloudy the water is, or how clear it is by how far it gets.
And this was at the invitation of Commander Alexander Cialdi of the Pontifical Navy, and that's in the United States. He actually had
Pontifical Navy. That sounds sounds like Rome.
No, maybe it's a different guy, a different Navy guy in the United States. Because somewhere else I read it was, because I didn't think he was U.S. either. But then it was like, oh, he's U.S. Okay. Yeah, here it is. He lowered brightly colored discs into the water until they were no longer visible and developed a standard for this measurement and its interpretation. Even today, water clarity is addressed by lowering bright white or black and white discs called Secchi discs into the water. Now there is, oh, let's go and look at that one. It's all blown up. Oh, yep, there's a bunch of little dots. And I don't know, it looks like maybe a foot.
Yeah.
So you could tell at what depth that would disappear. All right, I think that's that observatory again. Yeah, so beautiful. And this video is alone on this page over here too, but that's a picture of that church, that St. Ignatius, with no dome and no observatory, you notice. And there's a story behind that too we'll get to. Yeah, okay. Because, oh, and this was, like I said, I wanted to pull out little bits of this whole video. This vision that Secchi had as a physicist to see all the phenomena of nature as an interaction of physical forces, the magnetic field and the sun and the meteor, the weather on Earth, all of this he could see as kind of the system, things that would affect each other. So it wasn't like other people at the time. They weren't really making these connections. All right, so we do have a wiki page for him, and they give you the pronunciation. That's kind of cool. He was 20 June 1818 to 26 February 1878, Italian Catholic priest and astronomer from the Italian region of Emilia. Oh, you read it at the beginning, right? Didn't you? All right, so there's that director for 28 years. All right, so he was born in this Reggio Emilia where he studied. And they use gymnasium like we would use prep school, right? Yeah, secondary school. It prepares students for higher education. So he studied the Jesuit gymnasium. When he was 16, he entered the Jesuit order and continued his studies. They actually noticed that he had sort of a great mind, a capacity for science. And so they kind of steered him in that direction, science and mathematics. In 1839, he was appointed tutor of mathematics and physics at the college. So he actually was kind of trained up to turn around and teach these areas as well. But he went way beyond that with all these different discoveries and the use of the spectrum. And anyway, it's fascinating. I definitely think this is a really great person to look into and a page to read.
Oh, and there's the U.S. connection.
Oh, they give the name? Where do you see it?
Right there. Basically, he moved to the United States where he
taught
that's a little bit different. At Georgetown University.
That's a little bit different because, well, and it says here in 1848, due to the Roman Revolution, the Jesuits were ordered to leave Rome. There was this schism between, the population and the priesthood and the church. So it wasn't great for him to stay. So he went away, and he went to both United Kingdom for a while. And they don't really say. I haven't seen like how long he was there. Was it a couple of years? But I think the overall time period was about 12 years between when he had to leave due to the Roman Revolution and when they could come back. So he was at Stonyhurst College in United Kingdom. Then he met all kinds of different colleagues and was exposed to different ideas and so forth that were happening in different areas of the world. Yeah, you got something? No. Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna make that bigger. So
okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, he met this guy, Alfred Weld, in charge of the observatory. It may have inspired him to take up astronomy. He moved to the United States where he taught for a time at Georgetown. So both of these places and these universities influenced him greatly. Well, here it is. During his stay in America, he met Commander Matthew Fontaine, different military guy, Fontaine Maury, the first director of the United States Naval Observatory in Washington. So that's where I heard that. Okay. He studied with Maury and corresponded with him for many years. When he returned in 1850, so yeah, 1838 to 1850, that's, or 48 to 50, no, 50. Oh, I thought it was 38.
Oh, so that's 2 years.
Just 2 years. So maybe he was average a year in each place. So not very long, but it had a really big effect on him. So he was appointed to become the head of the observatory at the college. Now this is back in Rome. This is yeah.
And they just call it the Roman College.
Yeah, right. So, and basically, it was falling apart. He renovated it, relocated it, and really made this an important place in the world for astronomy and discoveries, all of that. He was elected to the American Physical Society. I think the first person outside of the United States, right? I think this is the United States one. Yeah, American Scholar of the Organization. His director position was challenged after 1870 when a remnant of the papal states around Rome was taken over by the Kingdom of Italy. There was a lot of turmoil, I think, before this and during this time. The college was declared property of the Italian government. Interestingly enough, though, he was so well respected that they let him remain in the observatory and do his work. It was so important. Upon his death, though, they dismantled it. There's pictures of, let's see, is there a picture? No, that's the end of that one. I know there's a picture of maybe it's in the video. There's a lot of stuff in the video. Yeah. And they show this mount that has no telescope on it. The building around it is gone. And it's like, oh, because it was no longer part of the papal state. It belonged to Italy now. So they took it away after he was dead, though. They left it there for as long as he was alive. So interesting, because all he's just a priest who wants to do science. There's all this politics stuff that's swirling around him. Yeah, he made contributions in so many areas. The double stars. This catalog discovered 3 comets. He produced an exact map of the lunar crater Copernicus. All those drawings paid off. He drew some of the first color illustrations of Mars, and was the first to describe channels, or canali in Italian.
Right, which got mistranslated into canals.
Yes. The first star recognized as a B star was Gamma Cassiopeia. B star, what is that? I didn't look up that one. B spectral. So remember, again, we had this sort of initial stuff with the spectrums, but then they used that to come up with the different types of stars. So this is a B type star. That they have BE, which that threw me, because usually I see it like this: the letter B spectral types and emission lines. All right, so, and a whole bunch of stuff was named after him too. He was especially interested in the sun, which we got to categorize. Or I guess it was counting, right? It was counting the different sunspots in those images that he drew. Made drawings. He organized expeditions to observe solar eclipses, 1860 and 1870. He proved that the solar corona and coronal prominences were observed during a solar eclipse were part of the sun, and here it is not artifacts of the eclipse. He discovered spicules, solar spicules. That's so amazing. Look at this. He discovered the little thriller model, as they say, on the sun. His main area of interest was the spectroscopy. I have a page for that too.
Oh, no, that's just a generic telescope.
The page is on the next tab over. He invented the heliospectrograph, star spectrograph, and telespectroscope. I don't even know what that stuff is. He showed that certain absorption lines in the spectrum of the sun were caused by absorption in the Earth's atmosphere. And they have a really neat picture on the next tab of this. It's sort of here's what you can kind of see and how much of it you'll see it. He began collecting spectra of stars, accumulating some 4,000 of them. He discovered that the stars come in limited number of distinct types. That's where that A, B, O, all that, which is on the HI diagram. All right. In fact, they call, what does it say? From this concept, he developed the first system of stellar classification, the 5 Secchi classes. But we don't know about them because it's now the HR diagram. So yeah, this was superseded by the Harvard system, and I believe that's what they mean, the Harvard HR diagram. He still stands as discoverer of the principal stellar classification, which is a fundamental element of astrophysics. His recognition of molecular bands of carbon radicals in the spectra of some stars made him the discoverer of carbon stars, which made one of his spectral classes. And then they go on to the oceanography and meteorology and physics and the Secchi disk, and we've talked about a bunch of this. Oh, he studied the aurora borealis, the effects of lightning and the cause of hail. Kind of a Renaissance guy in terms of astrophysics.
Well, yeah, and back
Very
then
cool.
you could be a polymath because we knew so little about so much that you could learn, you could learn a little bit about a lot of things and be an expert in them at the time.
Right, right. He did do things for the papal government, like overseeing placement of sundials, repair and installation of municipal water systems, because why not?
Mm-hmm.
He supervised an exact survey of the Appian Way in Rome. That's that road we talked about earlier. It was later used in topographical mapping of Italy. He supervised construction of lighthouses for the ports of the Papal States. In 1858, he traveled to France and Germany to procure the necessary projection lenses. And that would be the right guy, too. He would know about that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. There's a couple more things here about his heritage. Oh, this is where they've named some things after him. There's a crater called Secchi on the moon and on Mars. And there's a main belt asteroid 4705 Secchi. Who knew?
Mm-hmm.
The two stereo, which is Solar Terrestrial Relations Observatory spacecraft, each carry an instrument package called Secchi, Sun-Earth Connection Coronal and Heliospheric Investigation. How apropos. All right.
I wonder how many hours are spent coming up with acronyms like that.
I don't know.
I mean, Lordy.
And where do you start, with the name or with the acronym?
You start with what you want it to be.
Yeah, I guess.
Then you start finding words that'll fit.
So they talk about his works, and this is that the sun, le soleil, was in French, but never in English, unfortunately. Yeah. Very, very sad.
Italian,
very sad.
French, and German.
Yeah, exactly. And some references. And definitely, if this is at all interesting to you, I would definitely recommend going and looking up the Wikipedia page. And it actually has a link to this astronomical spectroscopy. I said it right that time. All right, it's the study of astronomy. Is the study of astronomy using the techniques of spectroscopy to measure the spectrum of electromagnetic radiation, which includes visible, X-rays, so forth, radio, all of them, what we can and cannot see. All right, they radiate from the stars and other celestial objects. The stellar spectrum can reveal many properties, such as their chemical composition, temperature, density, mass, distance, luminosity, and the redshift, blue shift business, right? They can show, here is velocity of motion towards or away from the observer by measuring the Doppler shift. It's just astounding to me how much information is loaded up into a spectroscopic. That word. Yeah, spectrogram. That's right. All right, and here's that really neat picture I was telling you about, where they say, all right, so the atmospheric opacity, in other words, there's you can't see any gamma rays, X-rays, and ultraviolet light. That's what this means. That's blocked by the atmosphere on Earth. We've got most visible light that can come through. See, there's a little dip here, because you can tell the difference between the radio waves, which are in this range, this frequency range, that have no blockage, zero. And then there's various things.
Surprising then that we don't see in radio waves.
Well, our eyes can't see in radio waves, right. But
why didn't our eyes develop to see them?
Oh, that's a really good question. You want to take on a crunchy topic for that?
Actually, I have a pretty good guess.
You do? What's the good guess?
Water absorbs radio really well, and our eyes developed underwater.
In water, that's right. So let's see. Most of the infrared spectrum is absorbed by the atmospheric gases, and James Webb Space Telescope is not on Earth because of that. It's out there at Lagrange Point 2. And long wave radio. This is a wonderful diagram. It's got, the percentage of, as well as these different wavelengths. Mm-hmm. And it tells a good story about what is visible and how and by how much. So there's a whole bunch more on this page. Let's see if there's anything I wanted to. Oh, yeah. This was really cool because this is one of these. It's a reflection grating, but that could make up a whole an episode. We talked about doing a crunchy topic on this very thing, so I don't want to go into too much detail with you. But yeah, if you want to get ready for that, go ahead and look. Let's see. Was there a picture in here I wanted to show you? Well, and if you don't know what this means with the different spectrum, so like in this case, we have a continuous spectrum. That's what they're calling it. And let's see, they said in here what that's. I think it's from, yeah, hot gases emit light at specific wavelengths, and hot solid objects by cooler gases show a near continuous spectrum with dark lines corresponding to emission lines. Yeah, we got a comment.
Yeah, Don says our eyes are too small to detect radio waves. That's my theory.
Well, that's an interesting idea because there is something to the wavelength as actual length. It's not just a term. It is, in fact, like microwaves in front of the in the doorway. When you close it up, it's got that grate. That's because that's the size of microwaves, and they want it to be grounded at the door so they don't hit you and cook you, essentially.
Right, and it's why a lot of insects see ultraviolet because their eyes are really small.
Got it.
But then conversely, mosquitoes see infrared, so I don't know.
Yeah. That's a whole nother crunchy topic.
Yeah.
So these lines show up because things are either there or missing. Let's see, emission lines, it's emitting, right? And absorption lines are absorbed. So let's see what it says here too. We talked about near continuous, but absorption.
And we can go over that when we.
Yeah, let's leave that for a crunchy topic episode.
It's here on the wiki. Look for us if you want to find out now. Astronomical spectroscopy, but I think in a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I'll be talking about it.
Well, we have a guest next week. So.
Yeah, that's why I said
at least 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. All right. Okay. So, because there was a picture, I wanted to. Oh, I think it's in the video. I think it's in the video. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in that video. I highly recommend it. If you don't do anything else, go and watch the video from that initial this page here.
Yeah, and I put the link to the page.
That's the link that's in the comments. Yeah. You had something else?
No, that was it.
Okay. So then there were several other sources. Society of Catholic Scientists, very nice stuff here. This one's a little bit short and it repeats a lot of the stuff we've already read. But there is some links to other stuff. And then this is pretty neat too. I don't know what this is. The Magi, so something. Priest and father of astrophysics. Oh, I think this is where the quote is that I would like to read to you. Because, oh, and here's a really good picture of this spectrum. And these might even be his work too. Let's see. Believe in God. No, that's not it. Yeah, let's talk about the pictures first because let's see. He set up one of the first networks of weather stations. Yeah, that's not about this, is it?
But this is
because this is the spectrum,
and this is what he drew essentially.
It must be. Yeah, I didn't read this as much as the other stuff. The first spectral classification of stars made by Angelo Secchi in 1866. This table is published in 1878 in the volume La Stelle Angelo Secchi. Okay. The Secchi disc still used today. We kind of talked about that already. I think it's going to be a little bit later. Contributions to. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's got the numbers.
But then okay, you must have to follow the link to see what the numbers actually refer to.
Could be, yeah. Oh, where is it? Oh, here it is. No conflict between his faith and his science. One might legitimately wonder about the depth of religious faith for a priest scientist of that era. Can we just assume that it was a cultural faith? You know, was he deeply faithful or was he less deeply? Anyway, but what I really think was important here, the answer is a resounding no, and it can be found in his personal reflections. Even scientific intelligence is one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit. We ought to ask God for this gift when, in our studies, we place before ourselves the end that every Christian should set his sights on, not the vanity of surpassing those who have preceded us, nor arrogance or pride after having surpassed them, but rather let us in our asking for intellectual light seek only to understand the works of the Lord, to know his greatness and our duty. How marvelous is that?
Mm-hmm.
So he had absolutely no conflict between, on the one hand, his very religious beliefs, and on the other hand, his very deep science understanding. I love it. All right, let's see. Oh, there's who wrote that. I think there's one more page I have. Really beautiful painting. And there's probably some other people we could look into eventually. And I don't think I really read this one, but looked pretty neat.
And it's, yeah, got some stuff in it.
Yeah, I think you want to learn some different things about like.
When you're done here, you might want to put that in. Put
Yeah.
the link.
Yeah, we can add
in
that.
Comments.
And maybe I did see something in here I want to point out for sure. Oh. Yeah, he was not the first to realize it was possible to analyze what chemicals a glowing object is made out of by using a prism. He was the first to apply the technique systematically to objects in the heavens.
Mm-hmm.
That's an important distinction. He found he could group stars together according to common features in their spectra. All right, very scientific. Okay, I will go ahead and grab that link.
Okay.
Yeah, there's most of the stuff we've already kind of heard about, but some places they have a little bit more detail about it. All right, let me grab this and add that to the chat. All right.
Okay.
Guess that brings us to stellar events.
Some stellar events this week, May 3rd through May 10th. A reminder, there's a new free download at skymaps.com. They have one every month.
Oh.
And Farmer's Almanac.
I got time right? Oh, that didn't take too long. All right, so if we got time, if it's not going over too long, I like to read the just the first part of the synopsis of this Farmer's Almanac. This is my favorite one. I get this pretty much every year. But right at the top, it has a really great overview of the month. Skywatch, it's called. This month's action is concentrated in the eastern sky during dawn's twilight. On the 1st at around 5:15 a.m., Saturn stands highest in the east with Mercury below, and it is dim. Orange Mars is halfway between them. On the 4th, Saturn and Mars stand on opposite sides of the thin crescent moon. In the bright evening twilight, Mars hovers to the upper right of the moon on the 5th at 5 a.m. On the 6th at 5:15 a.m., an unobstructed view of the eastern horizon reveals Mercury to the lower right of the crescent moon. On the evening of the 15th, the moon is just above Blue Spica, Virgo's brightest star. A gorgeous super close Saturn-Moon conjunction unfolds from 4:30 to 5 a.m. on the 31st for you early birds.
Yeah, not us.
We're more of the night owl types.
Yeah, and looked it up, and basically there aren't any evening visible planets this month.
All the action's in the morning right now.
Yep. So when you see me talk about conjunctions,
wake up early.
Yeah, they're in the morning. Like May 3rd, tonight, probably already over.
Oh yeah, it's in the morning, but it'll still be close tomorrow morning.
Yeah, because Saturn and the moon were in conjunction this morning. Saturn was 0.8 degrees north of the moon, and Pluto appeared stationary.
I guess we don't have to do those for the same day if it's in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So then
we'll have to keep that in mind.
Then we'll have to look up whether it's morning or evening.
Yeah, we can do that. We can figure that out.
But so on May 4th, moon is on the equator, and the moon is in conjunction. Mars and the moon are in conjunction. Yeah, that's right. Mars is 0.2 degrees south of the moon, and occultation is visible from parts of southern North America. Yeah,
we didn't look up where that would be, but
yeah,
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah,
didn't even know that was going to be a thing.
Yeah. Also, Neptune and the moon are in conjunction, but yay. And it's National Star Wars Day.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
That's actually like tomorrow.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
For us, it's for Cliff, it's today.
Yes, that's true.
May 4th through 6th is the Etid Aquariid meteor shower. Oh, it peaks then. It's already going on.
Yeah, they didn't really give us a range.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I have to look. I have to check again.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I looked at meteor showers.
Yep. So look to the southeast after midnight. It radiates from Aquarius. Peak rate per hour is 10 to 60. So 1 to 6 minutes between meteors on average. The source is 1P Haley. And the moon should be pretty small because the new moon is in 4 days. On May 5th, moon is at perigee, and the moon is an ascending node, and it's Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
Mostly celebrated north of the border, not in Mexico.
Well, and only one place in Mexico because they held off the French. It's like one city in Mexico ever celebrates May.
But almost all of the
United
Southwest states celebrate it. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny.
As this great Mexican heritage when what city?
I don't think anybody knows about that.
Yeah.
I just happened to find out about it once.
Yeah. So I said the moon is at perigee, right?
I think so, yeah.
And the moon is at ascending node. May 6th, Mercury and the moon are in conjunction, and Mercury is 3.8 degrees south of the moon. And May 7th is a new moon, as we mentioned, which means that Mercury is going to be, well, you'll be able to maybe see a very thin crescent on the 6th when it's in conjunction with the moon.
Maybe.
Yeah. Actually, it might be so close to dawn that it might wash out the moon.
It might.
May 7th is the new moon, and Venus and the moon are in conjunction. Again,
early morning,
and there might be enough Earth shine to see the moon with Venus. May 8th, Jupiter and the moon are in conjunction. Again, same thing as Venus and the moon. And Uranus and the moon are in conjunction, of which, well, probably easier to see the moon, but not by much.
It's going to be 1 day old, and everything's in the morning, and I guess Uranus is visible, but by binoculars, but not naked eye. So.
Yeah, not when I'm holding binoculars. May 9th, Mercury is at greatest eastern elongation at 26.4 degrees west of the sun. It's visible in the morning before the sun rises. And May 10th is our Friday night show, and we have a guest. So stay tuned to learn who and what we'll be talking about. Find us Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the Everyday Spacer Facebook page and the Everyday Spacer YouTube channel.
What inspires you the most for this week? All right, so some other events and activities. Let me go set that up, and then I'll have you share. I know I put some here.
I should share it before you set it up.
There we go. It was kind of cool because I never heard of it before. And I'm like, wait, May 1st to 5th? Oh, it's 2025. Miami to Nassau, Bahamas, the Galaxy Cruise, Rebels of the Caribbean.
I guess you don't have to really rush out and get your tickets.
Well, maybe, because they will be a good deal for one thing, and they will sell out eventually. All right, so.
Oh, I don't know. You wouldn't be able to get tickets for it even now because it's May 3rd. Basically, they'd be halfway through their cruise.
No, 2025.
I know. No, I'm just saying that if it was this year, it would be way too late to talk about.
It's not. And I think I saw a Facebook ad of it, and I think it was, well, let's see. Let's click on the thing. Nope, that's what we get. Because before I just had the Galaxy Cruise. I didn't even see dates. All right, so. Oh, I see. GalaxyCruise.com. Let's go there. Join the pre-sale. Do they say? Oh.
Nope, they don't.
First round, public, May 17th. So the first time you can buy them is May 17th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And I think it's not going to tell us
how much.
The price. Okay, so sounds interesting. I don't know exactly what it's about. Maybe we'll learn about that a little bit later on. The this was really nice post by Lori V. Stargazing Awe. Dark Sky, it's the International Dark Sky Association, because they talk about every light alters the night. And I really like that they had this little bit here. Protecting the night starts at your front door. So it's important to dim your lights to help preserve our nighttime environments. Reducing light pollution not only saves energy, but also protects nocturnal ecosystems and creatures. You can make a small change that has a big impact by following the 5 principles for responsible outdoor lighting at night. Learn more at the site. Oh, I thought I had it up there at one point. I think I did. And they talk about the 5 principles. This could be a whole show. Is it useful? Is it targeted?
I thought we did a dark skies.
I don't know. We'll have to look. Is it low level? Is it controlled? In other words, is it on when you need it and off when you don't? Use warmer color lights where possible. So I thought that's a really great chart.
Yeah, and if you're going for safety, lighting your stuff for safety, motion detectors actually work better than on all the time lights, because on all the time lights make shadows, and shadows are what people hide in. And it's much more noticeable to find someone who's creeping around if the lights go on.
Yes.
Of course, you also notice the neighbor's dog. You notice, yeah.
I think, well, it's not really clickable, but this might be something you can share. And I don't know if it'll look like this post, or you can actually share this in this actual, you can see the whole thing here. So it's kind of nice, this actual image. Yeah, you can save it though. You can save it. All right. I thought that was really good. And then there is this museum after hours. Kind of cool. They're encouraging people to come to the museum and drink. Isn't that great? It's Friday, June the 14th from 5:30 to 9 at CMOA. Now, this is in Roswell, Georgia.
Oh.
And it's not too bad, $25. About the event, it's 3.5 hours. Embark on an out-of-this-world event at the Museum After Hours event on Friday, June 14th. It's a Computer Museum of America. Okay. Celebrate the fun and imagination of all things science fiction by dressing as your favorite sci-fi character and exploring artifacts that once seemed like science fiction through a scavenger hunt. That sounds really cool. I thought I did see something about drinks. Or maybe not. That'd be okay.
They talked about, they have a console signed by a bunch of people, and
cool.
And just as you were going by, I saw how they signed it, and Michael Dorn, "Death to all who touch this console."
Okay.
Signed by him, basically in his war personality.
Should I go find that? Let's go look at that. Or is it just something you read?
Here, right there. "Death to all who touches this Michael Dorn."
Nice. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I got an email, and it was the last call for Sci-Fi World opening night tickets, which is not exactly helpful in a way, but it is this new Sci-Fi World museum, scifiworld.org. So the gala is on the 27th, but they're basically, there's Cliff. Hey, Cliff.
Hi, Cliff.
But they're probably by now sold out, because they said they had 50 tickets, and this was at the end of April. Well, maybe they have a few. If you're in the area and it's still available to you, you might want to try this. And here is, in fact, the website, scifiworld.org. Exhibits, about us, shop, a horror museum, FAQ, contact, buy tickets, join the email list. And I joined this years ago. And they were like, we'll be open, blah, 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 this spring, summer, whatever it was. And that was a while ago. So it looks like maybe they are actually going to be open now in Santa Monica, California. Oh, and this was a video. I guess I didn't stop it, but it has Summer Glau. That was kind of fun to watch her. So, opening, but not necessarily available to everybody, but it might be a pretty cool museum at some point. And then this is going to be a little bit of a conversation, because Creation Con likes to bring wonderful actors together for their conventions. And you know the story better than I do.
I used to run and, work on conventions. Creation was known for scheduling their conventions the same weekend as an already scheduled convention, just to drive them out. And
well, and they had a lot more money and a lot more publicity, and it was a
well, and they
like
had
cheap tickets, and they filled
yeah,
huge
well,
auditoriums,
and they had
and
exclusive contracts with
yeah.
at the time I think almost the entire original Star Trek crew.
Oh,
So, and this was in the 80s, so that was the only crew around.
oh, right.
So that's how they drove
Yeah,
out.
see how they got the big room
Yeah.
and
So
the big stars.
yeah. So if you want to see big stars, go to a creation.
The trouble is, it's very hard to compete with this, and a lot of these small, locally operated groups.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Gone. It killed them.
I know 3 of them that died from this.
Yeah. So they got an unfortunate nickname, but
cremation.
Yeah. All right. So then there is a special offer to join the greatest adventure from the National Space Society. And they've actually got a conference coming to Los Angeles at the end of this month. So we'll have to find a page for that too. Mm-hmm. By joining the National Space Society, you help advance the cause of human spaceflight, exploration, development, and settlement. As a thank you, we'll send you one of these space collectible patches. Oh, that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I just found this today, so I didn't even get a chance to really look at it. But yeah, you want to be a member? There you go. I thought this was really cool too. They're offering things about the eclipse for, even though it's past the eclipse, but it isn't in support of this Black Rock Observatory. So I thought that was really good. Again, I found an ad on Facebook. They really love to show me ads.
You're on everyone's list.
Yeah, now. I know. Well, they get shown. They've got some different things, but again, it is in support of this observatory. And I don't know, Black Rock. It's got to be in, I don't know. We'll have to look.
I would think Arizona, but
yeah, Black Rock. We'll have to look into this some more because I don't remember hearing about this kind of a
they don't actually say where on their website.
No. Anyway, and we've seen this before. Sent a postcard. The Nightscaper Photo Conference. I'm just going to zoom through these. Oh, I actually got the book. I ordered the book.
Yeah, let me make us.
And I have the book. Started reading it. So that's the book you get. And it was fast because remember last week I was like, oh, I should order this book. And I did. And doggone it, it just showed up a couple days ago.
So
all right.
How far have you gotten in it so far?
I don't know. Page. What is that? 16, 15? But I'm reading another book. So, yeah. All right. We've seen this here before. Humans to Mars Summit. The science fair. That might be past, though. I should look at these dates. And I'm scrambling to do this tonight. Sorry. And, of course, these are some wonderful trips to Iceland in 2026.
Yeah, well.
Iceland cruise.
They
good stuff.
They talk about a bunch of things, but you found it because of the Eclipse package.
Yeah.
Because it won't be hitting Iceland, but it will be off the coast.
Yes.
And so, they're running cruises from there.
Yeah, it's not too early. And I thought this was cool. Another Facebook ad. Spacesuits past, present, and future. Now, let's see. I think they usually have these online, live. And, of course, you can catch the replay as well. But I think, I don't know. I'll have to.
Live event.
This was a recent acquisition, too. So I'll have to look at it some more. And we've seen this before. Curiosity Box. They send you a quarterly plan, annual plan. Then this Identity Engine, powering our online lives. That's May 28th through 31st in Las Vegas. And, this was, I showed this before, but this is coming soon at Vandenberg Space Force Base, Friday, May 17th. It's, guests will obtain a base pass. And let's see, I think, it's pretty early. Check in 11:30 a.m. Program begins at 12. I don't remember exactly what they say. I don't think we know exactly what they're going to be talking about. The Chamber of Commerce put this together, though.
Probably mostly a tour of the a mini tour of the base
parts that you're allowed to see. Yeah, there's a museum there. It's a huge base.
Right.
It's very quiet. It's kind of nice. Oh, and then I showed this before. Did you miss the 2024 eclipse? Sign up for, yeah. Oh, does this one go? No, I think this is this one. Sun Chasers. And I think that's it. There we go. More fun stuff if you want. All right, so last bit here.
Yep. So if you or someone you know has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, or astronomy, we'd love to share our live. Join us again next Friday, May 10th. Lance Shaw will tell us about T Core Bohr, a recurrent nova. Lance was with us last week during the eclipse recap, and he's very knowledgeable and seems like an interesting guy.
Yeah, I found an interesting graphic for T Core Bohr. I don't know much about it yet, so we'll have to learn.
Yep.
All right, that's it for us. Anything else from you?
Nope.
Anything else from you? We will watch for your comments later as well, and we usually respond to them because it shows up on the YouTube thing, and maybe the Facebook thing too. I'm not there very often.
Yeah.
All right, so folks, I hope you have a really great week. I hope you look into Father Angelo Secchi. He is a very interesting character and just made all kinds of contributions to science, and we really should know who this person is.
Yep.
All right, have a great week. We'll see you later.
Yep.
Good night.
Good night.